Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, let's continue our discussion on Speech Act. Okay, Speech Act is a theory which is proposed by Austin. Austin pointed out that when someone says something, it doesn't mean that he or she only produces an utterance. Just more than that, when someone produces an utterance, actually he or she does something. So, to make it clearer, to make it easier, let me give you an example. Let's say someone say Fulan, and then Fulana is beside her, and me, Fauzi, who likes to fudul his students, okay, and I say, Fulan, come here, okay. In Indonesian I say, dengan ini saya nikahkan engkau dengan Fulana, okay. Right? So what did Fauzi do by saying that sentence? It's just joke. Okay. Yeah. So Fauzi uttered that utterance. Fulan, aku nikahkan kau dengan Fulana dengan mas kawin bla 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 bla. Okay. So yeah, we can say that that utterance means nothing. Okay, means nothing. But what if the same utterance is produced by the father of Fulana? Okay, so or let's say if the father of Fulana has passed away, so the utterance is uttered by the brother of Fulana to Fulan. So hai Fulan, aku nikahkan engkau dengan putriku Fulana dengan mas kawin sekian. So means something. Okay, do you get the point? So the same utterance said by Fauzi, who is nothing, who is no one, is different from the same utterance when it is produced by the concerned person, by the father of the Fulan. So I would like to underline here, by saying Fulan, aku nikahkan engkau dengan putriku yang bernama Fulana. So the utterance is not just an utterance, but it is an action done by the speaker. And then when the audience agrees by saying sah, so Fulan and Fulana become husband and wife. Do you get the point? That the utterance means something. So the father of Fulana did something by saying something. Another example is, you know that I like choir, right? So when choir, so the choir personnel are divided into soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. So I belong to bass. And then sometimes when we are in a rehearsal, sopran is divided into sopran 1 and sopran 2, and then alto 1 and alto 2, and then so I belong to bass 1. I am baritone actually, not bass. So the bass 2, I mean those who can produce the sounds with very low tones, but not me. Let's say I belong to bass 1, not to bass 2, who can produce the lower. Then when my friend asked me, Mas Fauzi, do you belong to bass 1 or bass 2? And then I said, I belong to bass 1. Let's say in Indonesian, for example, my friend, her name is Alex, for example. Alex told me, Mas Fauzi, in Indonesian language, kayaknya Mas Fauzi bass 2 deh. And then I would like to say that, oh sorry, so I am not what you call that. I'm not comfortable enough. I am not confident enough if I belong to bass 2. But if our trainer mentioned that. For example, my trainer asked me, Mas Fauzi, do you belong to Bas 1? Mas Fauzi bilang Bas 1 atau Bas 2? And then, I don't know, I would like to say that. And then, when my trainer said, kayaknya Mas Fauzi Bas 2 deh. Okay. I will stand and then I will move to the group of Bas 2. You see, Alex's sentence was, kayaknya Mas Fauzi Bas 2 deh. So, it didn't really mean something to me, to our choir. So I still keep being in Bas 2. But what if the trainer said with the same utterance, kayaknya Mas Fauzi Bas 2 deh. So it means something. So it is a decision given to the trainer of my choir that I have to move to the other group. To get the point, my choir trainer said, kayaknya Mas Fauzi Bas 2 is not only saying something, but he did something. He made a decision that to change, to move me from Bas 1 into Bas 2. Okay. Yeah. What is speech act, everybody? Speech act is a phenomenon of doing something by saying something. I will give you a PDF file, and then you can study that carefully later, and then I will give you a homework later dealing with the PDF file that I will give. And then I will give you an example of another what you call that, speech act. For example, Antonius borrowed Cecilia's book, and then Cecilia reminded Antonius to give the book back, and then Antonius produced an utterance. I'll bring the book tomorrow. Okay, I'll bring the book tomorrow. I will bring the book tomorrow. So what did Antonius do by saying this? Yes, he didn't only utter the utterance, but he promised. Okay, and then the next day, it turns out that Antonius didn't bring the book, and then who? Cecilia. Antonius, you promised to bring the book yesterday. Okay, you can see Cecilia could get the point that I will bring the book tomorrow is an utterance uttered by Antonius. By saying that utterance, Antonius did something. What did he do? He promised. Promise here is a verb. Okay? So in I will bring you the book, promise doesn't occur in the utterance, but it is there. And then promise here is a verb. In speech act, it is called performative verb. So the performative verb can occur when the what you call the utterance is reproduced in the form of reported speech. And then we can say, so we can also produce the reported speech of Antonius. Okay, Antonius said in quotation, I will bring the book tomorrow. I'll bring the book tomorrow. And then we can make the reported speech by saying Antonius promised the book. Antonius promised to bring the book the following day or the next day, not tomorrow. Okay, so why not tomorrow? It is dealing with the what you call that, deixis that we discussed last meeting. Don't worry, I tried to explain the deictic system or the what you call. I also explain how deixis is related to the speech act in the PDF file that I also sent to you. Hopefully, what I'm telling you in this video can help you a bit to understand what is meant by Speech Act. We are going to talk about this later. Hopefully we can get a chance to meet, and then I will review the materials from the very beginning of our sessions in the semester. For the time being, for today, I think it's enough. See you again next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.